Hey, everybody. There's a lot of little things that went on, so I'm just gonna tell my to give you my two bits. Um, I'm gonna start off with the hearings. Donald Trump wants to assign all these people for official titles of the government, and he dropped the ball with every single one of them. None of them were qualified, and I think that's good because the hearings proved that they weren't qualified. Now all we got to do is just sit and wait and hope that there's no loophole that he can go through in assigning all the wrong people for this title. I'm going to slide this down because the sun is glaring. The sun is moving and it's moving right up to the lens. But yeah, hopefully there's no loophole or no clause that they can rely on to assign these douchebags to the thing. I mean, we're talking Secretary of Defense, Homeland Security, and none of those people, I mean, they're all puppets. None of those people did anything to earn that title. But they're just, Trump puppets. And so, they think they can just take the title. But they went through the hearings and they failed miserably. And I think that's a good thing. Moving on to the wildfires, there's a theory that P. Diddy had people torch his mansion and all these other neighborhoods because, he didn't want to go to jail or prison. And there's other very important people whom he's got videotapes on, which is kind of strange. Why would he be destroying the evidence that he has for leverage? Okay, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Unless he's going up against somebody that doesn't care who or what kind of celebrity status he holds, Adam Schiff or what have you, then yeah, that is a big concern. But it's also, the conspiracy is also a concern as well. It's alarming, and I'm not going to be jumping at shadows. I still want to know all the facts and all this good stuff. And while they're investigating everything, going through all of that videotape, years and years of it, maybe even decades of tape and video recordings, audio recordings, pictures, all that good stuff and files. So I'm not jumping to conclusions yet, but it's an interesting theory. That aside, the fire department over there is doing good. There's supposed to be a concert coming up called Fire Aid, where it's going to have Chili Peppers and Lady Gaga and, all these people that are getting together to do a fundraiser. I'm going to check my wallet, my pocketbook, my savings, see if I can pull out, maybe a 20, or whatever. I can't really make big, $100 donations because I'm working for a living no differently than you guys. But, I think it's a good idea. Usually when something goes to a big disaster like that, me and family members of mine and friends, we gave to the fundraiser for New York. We gave fundraiser for the Oklahoma City bombing by Timothy McDumbass McVeigh. We did a few donations like that, and to Hurricane Katrina. So to think that, to be able to do this for California and Los Angeles and all them, it feels like being human again. Before 9/11, around the time of Hurricane Katrina, before the government and the corporations started milking us so badly that now everybody, and I mean everybody that I've been talking to, everybody is struggling economically, financially. A lot of people lost their savings. I'm actually restarting mine, and technically I've been doing that off and on because I've been having to dip back into it for some messed up reason or another. But yeah, I mean, it's been really, really hard for everybody. So again, I really don't think it's too much of a problem to make one little donation, just to feel human again. Um, but that's not until the start. I think it's January 30th. This is the 19th right now at the time of this recording. Um, there was something else that I wanted to talk about, but I can't remember. Oh, yeah, the border. Hype about the border is already being stated that there's no invasion. Okay, Trump isn't even in office yet, but because he got elected president, there's no invasion, which is just dumb, because if you scroll back on my channel to as far back as April 13th or 14th, I actually put this camera phone up to my TV where you can see a bunch of bullshit. It's an invasion, but there's nothing going on behind them. It's an all open, everything looks like a park and all this good stuff all along the border. You want to set up a pitch tent and set up a barbecue pit. It looks great. You go as far back as February, same thing. February is the one where it's titled "Exposing the Propaganda," and that's the one where I think 8 minutes in, I can't really remember the what you call it, the time, but it's that one segment that I threw out there in February of 2024. "Exposing the Propaganda" is the title, and that's the one where you literally see migrants coming through a gate along the border, and the camera angle turns to see what's on the other side of that border, and it's a bus, and you've got all these cops escorting them in. They're motioning them, come on up, get on board. Now if that's an invasion, what are we doing with the buses? I've stated this before and I'll say it again. There was no invasion. There's still no invasion. That requires an army or even a militia. There's no militia. None of them were armed. They're not destroying public buildings. They're not invading ranches. There's no slaughtered cattle. There's no burnt cropped plantations. There's no burned barns. There's no slaughtered families. There isn't even a report of a dead dog. So the BS this entire time, I have to brag about it. It's giving me bragging rights. I do apologize. But I get to beat my chest a little bit because I'm telling you, it was all a lie. And everybody that went down there and filming these migrants surrendering, hoping to get some kind of food, or shelter, if not both, that's what they were saying was an invasion. JRL investigates and what have you. U.S. immigration, which certifiably said at the very beginning, we're not a part of the U.S. immigration department. This show is titled U.S. immigration. That's what it said at the very beginning. Okay. Dr. Phil went down to the border, interviewing cops and state troopers, saying, "Hi, I see. Is it really tough with this invasion?" And they're saying, "Yeah." He says, "Yeah, I knew it." Okay, there was no invasion. As sure as somebody like Dr. Phil, some old has-been celebrity, can go down there and join with the thing and parade around, walking with cops from one end of a building to the other, not even the entire headquarters, it was just this lazy sack of crap, but yeah, it's all BS. It still is BS. It always has been BS. There's nothing that's good. There is no invasion. So when Trump goes into office, he says, "I stopped the invasion. You're welcome." It's bullcrap. Same thing with the border bill. "I created the border bill." No, he stopped the border bill. What else? The war in Ukraine. We already know he sucked Putin when he went to Russia. Okay? He sucked Putin. and he's going to withdraw all our troops and all our aid to Ukraine. They're in serious trouble. There's going to be a serious genocide going on. And if we're lucky, we get much like the Jewish Holocaust, we'll get a couple of people that were there for a little while but escaped telling their tale. Israel, he's going to back out. He's going to get out of Netanyahu's way. It's bad because, don't get me wrong, everybody's saying it was never Israel's territory. Yeah. But Israelis occupy that area, and they held it down, and they made it that land theirs. Regardless as to what indigenous people, don't get me wrong, the Israelis were indigenous peoples to the country Israel, okay? And unlike the indigenous here in the Americas, where we hold down reservations, they held down their entire country, and they made it theirs. And everybody from all the other countries that went there went to support it and make a living and become a success and all this other crap. That being said, so Israel is Israel. It belongs to the Israelis. That being said, the abuse of power that Netanyahu is doing, while politicians are not really stopping him, they're frowning at him, but they're not really stopping him. You can see that. We can all see that. So that part is total BS. That's the thing that needs to be stopped. There's a ceasefire right now where they're going through the first phase of bringing over a couple of three hostages that Hamas will release, and 100 prisoners that Israel release. Okay, that's one of the first phase. That's the first phase. Okay, and Netanyahu's already saying, "Well, we're going to go invade them anyway. It's not over. This isn't the." And I get that. Here's the problem. It's disrupting the peace agreement. It's disrupting the agreement, and that's wrong. Okay? Just like the way the Hamas and the Houthis disrupted the ceasefire the first time a couple of months back. Okay? Calling off the deal. To think that there isn't going to be a couple of cheap shots being done is also foolish. Okay? Trump is going to say, I saved everybody and all this other crap while the turmoil is still going to be going on. Why? Well, think of it this way. You've got the opportunity to kill somebody you hate in your neighborhood, which is nowhere near the trade, the hostage trade. The hostage trade is going to be in a secured location far away from your neighborhood. So, what do you expect? Yeah, there's going to be some punks throwing down. There's no escaping that. And it's just that obvious. And for Trump to say, surrender the hostages or else all bets are off, well, that's what Netanyahu is saying, and he's a big-ass turd. Okay? That's what the Hamas and the Houthis are saying, and they're a bunch of assholes. Okay? To have Trump join in on it is just downright stupid. Plus, we can all see the facade, okay? Surrender the hostages or else is just dumb, okay? And what is he going to do anyway? He ain't going to do diddly squat. He didn't do anything to take on the Russians. He's not doing anything to take on the Hamas and the Houthis and ISIS and anybody else. He just doesn't do anything, okay? He gets out of the way of all of these dictators and doing whatever the hell they want. And as far as him saying, no war has ever taken when I was there, technically he did. He launched an assault on Syria, And as far as the, Crimea and all that, okay, Crimea was before he went into office. And there was no need for Russia to make a move anywhere else because of the invasion that they gained, because of the gain that they made off of the invasion when Russia hit it. Okay? So to think that he was in office so no war went on, that's just downright stupid. Russia already hit Crimea, you know, and they hit Ukraine in 2014. Before that was also before Trump. Okay. Just how much do you think they can accumulate, and how fast do you think accumulating the oil and the minerals and all that from a country, do you think that actually happens? You know, it doesn't happen that fast. It takes time. And then they moved on to an entirely different. It was the same thing with Kosovo. Before that, it was the same thing with Croatia. It was the same thing with Herzberg. It was the same thing with what the country, Croatia, Kosovo. Well, Crimea, and now the Ukraine. You know, everything took time after hitting those countries. Bosnia, everything took time after hitting those countries. Okay. It took time to take all that oil. It took time to occupy that. It took time to put a politician, Russian-favored politician, into that country's office. You know, that's what they've done in Bosnia and Croatia and Kosovo. Okay, Crimea, now Ukraine. It takes time. So for Trump to be doing this during that time, being president during that time, well, it's just downright stupid. No wars went on. Well, they didn't need to. They took a whole country. You know, they took Bosnia. They hit Ukraine. No wars was going on. Well, yeah. They got the oil of Western Ukraine. They got the oil out of Crimea. They didn't need to hit any other country. They didn't need to wage war. So yeah, I mean, you guys got to understand. And spread the word. Keep spreading the word. Somebody on, I think it was Facebook, said there's got to be a way that we can list all these corruptions that's going on. And I threw out what you guys know, my subscribers know, what you, the viewer that's just now finding out, now knows. You know, I threw out a little bit of this, a little bit of that, for them to take and run with. Okay? And I hope that you guys are doing the same thing. Okay? We gotta stay on top of this. We gotta stay on top of this. You know, it's the only way to expose it. And it's not like we gotta defeat Trump. Well, he's on his second term. There's no point in defeating him. Undermining him to where he doesn't get away with his corruption. Now that's a purpose. That's what I'm talking about when I say we got to stay on top of this stuff. We can't turn a blind eye, and we can't just think, oh, there's no point in stopping him because this is going to go on regardless. There's no doubt that he's going to be committing acts regardless, acts of corruption regardless. There's no doubt that he's going to be doing that. The proof was his first term. Well, when everybody was just trying to get the minimum wage raised, when gays were trying to get their rights, when women were trying to get their rights reinstated, also particularly with the abortion, you know, they were doing rallies, not necessarily strikes, but they were doing rallies, which later some were doing strikes, like the raising the minimum wage. You know, and Trump authorized all this tear gas crap going on, you know. Sorry. And he turned an entire blind eye to people like Rittenhouse, who went to a rally in an entirely different state to pick a fight and then shoot somebody in the name of self-defense. Okay? We already know that he's going to be doing these horrible acts of corruption. He's going to make it a circus down here so he can do biddings and jobs and getting deals, under the table deals as president. Which leads me to TikTok. Guys, when I first started in 2021, TikTok was one of the things that Biden was talking about as far as removing and switching it to an American CPU, an American network. Every one of you spat on the idea. Why? I have no earthly idea. I don't get it. You know that TikTok was using their computer systems to take data, your identity. Not so much take it, but to know what your identity, who you are, and what you're made of. You guys. And sooner or later, it would get to somebody important. Somebody, I don't know, say with nuclear codes. Maybe not to that extreme, but most definitely somebody important like that. This is what Biden was talking about. This is what his administration was saying. You guys, I've been talking about it since that time. Everybody's been talking about it. Every expert, every intelligence agency has been talking about it. And for some whacked out reason, all of you ignored it, my fellow Americans. Now we got Trump saying, I don't know, we might actually have to do this. We might have to actually shut down TikTok. But you know what he's going to do? If he shuts it down, he's going to say, you're welcome. I spared you from being spied on and having your identity ripped off. This should have been done as far back as 2021. We shouldn't have been doing this. It doesn't matter who the president is, as long as the act of keeping us safe and secure is being done. You guys, Harris was going to do this. And you guys dropped the ball because of a woman, because she's a woman. I'm saying for our security, who gives a shit? Who gives a damn if it's being done by a woman? And I've already stated that in the post-presidential election, my thoughts on it back in November. You want to see it, go ahead and see it, but it's the same. My opinion hasn't changed on that. When it comes to doing everything patriotically American, saving us, who cares if it's a woman, so long as it's somebody that can get it done. That's my opinion. But yeah, this TikTok thing where everybody's now scared, you should have been on Biden's side from the very beginning to where this scare wouldn't even be existent. There's one American company, I think it's called Blue Sky or Blue Leaf. Everybody's ignoring it right now because of the color blue, which is a Democratic color, the Democratic Party color. I think that's very stupid. I'm actually going to be looking into it. I strongly recommend that if you want to find somebody, that is a good start. Work it. Talk to the customer service to work out the tweaks, to work out the bugs, and to support it because it's an American network system, not a Chinese network system run by the Chinese Communist Party. So, and that's really it. I mean, just give it a shot. Who knows? Come January 30th. I'm not saying donate $20 like the way I want to. The budget might happen to where I can't. Something might happen to where I have to spend money like on auto repair or something. But, I at least want to do a nice donation. Let's all work on being better at it. Let's just stay on top of the corruption as well. Keep listening, keep noticing, keep sharing, keep spreading the word. Okay? And if you could, try not to follow propaganda. Okay? The stuff that you relay, try to look for the factual stuff. Okay? Because that's more important than being part of a monolith that, is saying the same crap over and over and over and over. What's the point of listening to you then? You know, I can hear it from Joe Rogan. You know, what's the point of listening to you? I can hear the same horse crap on Fox News. You see what I'm saying? Um, and that's a good market. If it's on Joe Rogan, Candace Owens, Fox News, that Fuentes Beaner, which is bizarre to me, a Beaner white supremacist, the white supremacist Beaner, whichever way you put it, it's comical. If his name is Fuentes, he's a Beaner, dude. He's a Beaner. Okay. Fuentes eats frijoles. So, so yeah. Just try to stay away from the propaganda and spread the word. Keep on keeping on. Okay, I'm gonna cut it at 26 minutes here. Y'all take care. Y'all take it easy. This is Chris with Chris's Comments, signing out.